All right, welcome to
Beer Talk.
Here we are again in Dubrovnik, and we're going back and talking about Saturday, which was in Sarajevo, and it was a very very emotional day in some respects. And
absolutely.
As I mentioned on the end of the last episode, I think it hit the fact that we lived through that time, and thinking back 30 years ago and what we were doing and what the people here were going through.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it is for you guys, but seeing the bullet holes and the artillery or whatever holes in the buildings, how would have I reacted during that time?
So he's talking about that Balkans war from 1992 or so to 95. And which is one of the reasons we all travel, is to see the world through someone else's eyes, and experience things that we didn't understand before or appreciate. And so as he goes on here, that was the day. It was an eye-opening encounter and very emotional.
We started the day obviously with breakfast, but then our tour.
Never miss a meal.
Never miss, and then our tour started, and we hopped on the bus and we headed down.
Yeah, we headed down Sniper Alley.
Sniper Alley, yeah.
It's the Sniper Alley.
Main Street, which is named Sniper Alley because we're in Sarajevo, and they're under siege by the Yugoslav/Serbian army, who is set up on two low mountaintops on either side of the city. So they've got a crossfire going about a half mile down to this main road, and if you were out there, you were in trouble. Yeah.
And our tour guide, what was his name?
Mac.
And interestingly, I think he was only 3 at the time, and he was evacuated but then moved back. So he was quite passionate about all of this, having been a survivor of it, probably too young to really realize, but he had quite a lot to say about it, and he really told a good story about what happened.
Yeah, because his family lived it. His dad was in the Bosnian army defending the city. Fortunately, he lived through it, but it was really an amazing
Quite
day.
different, actually, from when we arrived the night before, all fun and games, and then we jump on the bus in the morning, and it's just drive down the street, and you look at the remnants of this war that was 30 years ago that are still there.
And building after building after building, had the marks on it.
Shows the scars of
when he showed us the one building that was completely gutted, and they haven't been able to make up their mind yet as to what to do with it. But there it sits as
a lot of repairs. A lot of repairs have been made, and it is a beautiful city. But the evidence is still there.
And while we get into some of the details of that time period here on this episode, don't get us wrong. It was wonderful experiencing it, and stepping through that. We headed over to what's called the Tunnel of Hope. It's a tunnel that was dug in 4 months and 4 days under the UN airport, and it was there to be able to get supplies into Sarajevo and to get people out. And so it played a critical part during the siege. And when we first went in, we came across, or we were presented with this display, and these are the people who dug the tunnel.
Yes.
and just the 24/7 dedication to make it happen that quickly. It was 5 meters down.
5 meters deep and 800 meters long. That's a half mile for those of you who don't do meters. Under what used to be the international airport.
It still is.
The UN peacekeeping force took over, and there was a little narrow gap in the perimeter of the siege that was controlled by the Yugoslavs. And this is our guide.
That's Evan.
That's
Evan.
Yeah. Missing tonight.
Yeah, our guide was 6'4" because everybody over here is about 8 feet tall. It's amazing. But,
so as I swing around and take a look behind me, I was at the tail end of the line, and it was profound going down there and through there. This was after we had watched a video from an 18-minute video from that time period, and if we were going through here back then, we would have been in ankle-deep water. Water dripping down on us, and just this was the supply line to get whether it was ammunition in, but it was also food and supplies and
quite literally a lifeline.
There were about I think 2,000 trips a day through there, if I remember the number. And these are people bent over carrying ammunition, 100-pound box of ammunition and weapons on their back, bent over, but they had to. They had no choice. And if you wanted to get out, like I think our guide's family, he and his brother and his mother got out by going through this tunnel and then hiking or finding a way to go 100 miles to Croatia. That was it, and there were still snipers firing from either side.
Yeah, just getting out of the tunnel wasn't a guarantee you were going anywhere.
No, it was just the
beginning
beginning
of
the
getting
trip.
out of the city.
Because the Yugoslav army should not shoot at the airport where the UN was, because then the UN may have had cause to step in and do something which they didn't want them doing.
So the Tunnel of Hope, and one of the things that we learned at the Tunnel of Hope was about the Sarajevo Rose. It was, so the impact places from grenades and mortars, and that blast radius was called Sarajevo Rose.
Yeah, where someone was killed.
Or
sometimes many someones.
And that was an eye-opener, because we saw it there at the tunnel, but we saw it on our city tour, and then realized what we were seeing the night before. And so the number of places that we walked that were impacted at that time.
I think the most poignant one to me was the one that was down by the statue that was erected to represent a mother and child to honor the 1,600 children killed in this. And just next to it was a rose, and just next to that was the Olympic rings from the 1984 Winter Olympics from Sarajevo, which had been marvelous, and then into a nightmare, and then now back to a city that's rebuilding and revitalized. It was amazing juxtaposition.
And just by that, the green statue there were the 4 cylinders, which had the names of all of the children who were lost during that conflict there as well.
It was real. It was very real.
So as we continued along in our day, we got to the downtown area and had the city tour continue.
And
kind
of the Old Town area.
Yeah, the Old Town area. This is in the market area as we went through there, and it's funny when you go through and you can't even look at everything. There are so many things in there that there's just it's impossible to register everything that's
Sure.
in there for sale. You bought a couple of scarves and
My wife might have bought the scarves. I ended up with a Turkish coffee
did you?
maker. Yes, just a small one, but it was supposedly made by hand, and it was a very nice, heavy thing. And we bought some coffee, and we had the opportunity to have some Turkish coffee as well, and that was quite different. They actually boil the water in the pot. Then I guess once the water's boiling, what I've seen of the instructions, then they add the coffee, let it steep for a while, and then you pour it into your little cup, and grounds and all.
the instructions we had gotten was you boil the water, you add the coffee, you bring it to a boil again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's that second boil for the Bosnian coffee that makes a difference,
Yeah.
according to them.
Okay.
Yeah, and Mike had a good point. I bet we can YouTube the instructions on that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
But I take it your wife drinks coffee.
We both drink coffee.
Yeah, because I didn't get one of those coffee sets.
Oh, we did. Well, and that's just something I like. When I travel, I like to pick up something that's very unique for the area that I go to.
Yeah.
So, and I have I have an office at my house, and I have quite a few little items. I don't buy anything expensive, but something, from the travel. So, and that I wanted something that actually would work too.
Yeah.
That I could make the coffee.
Yeah, I thought it was fun though going through the market, because then it was kind of like walking through a time capsule.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like like the old bazaar you would
Yeah.
imagine,
So we go down this alleyway, and it's where the Ottomans helped set this up, and then you go down a little bit further, and it's where the Habsburgs, and you see the Viennese type buildings, and then you go down a little bit further in the Yugoslavian buildings, which are stark and socialist, and then we went into a square where it was very representative, I think, of the Sarajevo people. There's a mosque, there's a Roman Catholic church, there's an Orthodox church, and around the corner is the synagogue. And it does seem that the people there play nice.
Yeah.
I was really impressed.
Probably the most multicultural place I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Just even next to the market with the ruins there.
Yeah.
Just how far back the history goes.
Oh, yeah.
Is pretty cool.
It's a beautiful place. The cobblestone, walkway. I mean, it's a little not straightforward to walk on. You have to be careful.
But they are polished smooth
Yeah. They've had some
Wow.
traffic.
They've had some
traffic on them.
on there over the last 800 to 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as we ended the city tour, we ended up at the city building.
The city building, right?
Here's Mike, Leanne, Laura, and I in front of the city building. The nice cheesy tourist shot. But when you go into the building, they had that display with all the war criminals, and
they're not glossing over things.
No, and just walking through there with the charge and the sentence and just the sheer number of it. They've got it there on display. Nobody's celebrating it.
Now you saw something else in that building that we didn't see.
In the basement.
What was that?
In the basement, yeah. And the other thing too is that building was, there was a lot of it destroyed. During the war, and so it had been rebuilt, and it had been rebuilt in an Ottoman style in honor of that heritage, which was interesting. And I went upstairs and walked all around. It was very nicely done. But downstairs they had a memorial. It was a memorial about the war, but a lot of it was about reconstruction of the building. But one thing in particular that one of the members on our tour had picked up was the Sarajevo cellist, and I didn't actually see it when I was there. There was a nice depiction of the damage done to the building and around the city in reconstruction, But she mentioned that later in the trip on a question was asked by Tomo about memories, and actually she showed me that picture, but when she showed me that picture and mentioned that, I remembered that. I had remembered that from the 90s about the Sarajevo cellist. And this fellow would sit in the street in Sniper Alley and play his cello during the siege. And I couldn't give you the details about when he started and how long he was there, but there's actually books written about him and about being there and about the spirit of survival and resilience and hope and that kind of thing. I actually ordered that book tonight.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. I ordered it tonight. But that just thinking about that Sniper Alley and that celloist and the determination of these people just to try to persevere this whole event was amazing.
Yeah.
The one other thing that was also in the city hall there was a room which also had the clothing that was being worn by the Archduke Franz Ferdinand and Sophia
something we saw
on the day of their assassination, which was just around the corner from the city hall there as well.
And that was the start of World War I.
Which is known as the trigger that started World War I, and that was in about July of 1914.
Because we went out to the spot where he was shot. That was a part before.
Yeah, we got a good history on that. That was a very interesting piece of the whole puzzle here.
And it does seem to be a recurring theme, and I'm sure there are other places in the world where it just seems like they go from war to war to war. It just seems like they've had such a tumultuous past that people just keep rolling along.
That's right. It seems that it's a counterpoint that what happened in Sarajevo in the beginning of the 20th century was repeated at the end of the 20th century.
But still, we have to talk about the dinner we went to.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was a lot of hope there.
A lot.
We went to a dinner that night. Let me butt in and clarify. The whole group of us, all 23 of us,
23.
went up to a family house in the hills up above Sarajevo, and where these people welcomed us in and made us dinner, and that's what Scott's referring to. Go ahead.
That's fine. I mean, it was because it was a family dinner. We were in their home, and they had kind of jury-rigged the tables all around to fit all of us in there, and they typically don't wear their shoes in the house, so we all took our shoes off and came in. They insisted that we didn't need to bother with that, but we wanted to respect the tradition. But we went in. They made us a traditional dinner, and it was a mother and her daughter, and then they had a friend come and help cook. And we had a lovely meal. And the daughter was very well spoken in English and well educated, working on her master's degree, international business, I think, and nice conversations with her. The other gal that did a lot of serving had some very emotional things to say about their hope for the future and positivity that they had for the way things had resolved, and that going forward that they felt very positive about it.
Yeah, because she'd worked for Catholic Charities, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Catholic Relief Services, yes.
Yeah, 17 years, I think, helping families and people get back on their feet in reconstruction and putting all those charitable dollars to good use. But I think it finally just got too much for her. She said she got burned out. It was emotionally overwhelming, I think.
Yeah,
but that was a lovely dinner, and there was a woman that came in and presented the traditional music, and it was interesting, the emotion. I couldn't understand a word she was singing because I couldn't.
You get the feeling of the emotion in it.
And Dick commented that he couldn't hear the introduction, but he could feel the emotion to it. And it's like, yeah, you really could. And
She was a professor of musicology, specializing in traditional music.
yeah,
And wonderful voice and very talented and just
and wonderful stories, just great stories.
yeah, lovely person.
You know, and to tie that into the dinner we had a few nights earlier with the musician that had the traditional type of bagpipes and instruments and things, there is a real passion about preserving their history here. And there is a tremendous diversity in history. And the way she talked about the village women, and he was talking about almost the same thing, the village musical events and how they would form, there's really a challenge in trying to preserve that. And these two people, the musician and this gal, the singer and professor of music, there's a real challenge in trying to keep that alive, because otherwise, you know, everybody wants to listen to rock and roll or whatever and all that business, and but here there's just so much diversity and so much history. I think they have a real challenge to try to keep it all together and to preserve it. Yeah. But there's a few passionate people out there anyway.
Well, we're going to wrap it up here, but everybody take a look at the sea back there. It's kind of dark.
Yeah.
I can't see anything back there. It's dark.
The lighthouse is out there.
But we do have a shot here of the pool. Anybody going swimming tonight?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That's a big no.
Maybe tomorrow.
So as we sign off here, I do want to invite you to follow us, like us, comment, subscribe, help us keep going here just by the support. We thank you for that. And that concludes this episode of Beer Talk.